Americans of Reddit, what places in America should foreigners avoid at all cost? From r/AskReddit. Part 1. If you go to a national park and you disregard the signs, you're going to die. It's not a joke. Treat buffalo like field puppies. You're going to die. Try to pet the brown bear? You're going to die. See that moose and want to feed it? You're probably already dead. Oh look, a rattlesnake. Dead. Want to swim in Old Faithful? You're going to die painfully and completely dissolve into a soup. *T is dangerous here, and if you don't respect it you'll be lucky to die quick. Don't hike into the wilderness of Colorado, especially 14 ERS, without knowing wilderness survival and responsibilities. Tourists die on our mountains and in Rocky Mountain National Park all the time. Do your research. Altitude is no joke. Not American, but as a visitor trying to travel on the cheap, I made the mistake of booking a Greyhound bus ride. There's a reason why it was cheap, lol. Death Valley in the summer, especially if you consider yourself a strong hiker and live in a cooler climate. It has that name for a reason. The hot springs in Yellowstone are not hot tubs, do not swim in them. Anywhere with a rainforest cafe and a wax museum on the same street is a tourist trap. Edit. I love how many people keep guessing what city I'm talking about and no guess has been the same. Avoid going to one location thinking another location across the country is a short trip. Steaming acidic hot springs in Yellowstone. If you're in a national park, listen to what the caution signs say and don't venture off of paths. One is because of wildlife and the other is because humans don't need to ruin everything in nature just to get a photo. Also, don't fall into the Grand Canyon. You will die. Northern WI. Because that's where I live and I don't like people. Gary, Indiana. Americans should avoid it as well. The deserts of the Southwest, unless you're prepared for it and understand the dangers of that environment. It isn't uncommon for us to get folks from Europe, typically Germany for some reason, who decide to go hiking at the worst times of the day without enough water. Some of them die. It's really easy to get dehydrated and possibly die even in safe areas. And the danger can sneak up on you. Edit. Hey, wow, I didn't expect this comment to blow up. Let it be said here that I love and welcome our overseas tourists. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate the opportunity to recommend restaurants and local sites because I get to see my home through new eyes. I'm very much a hospitality-focused person, and can really geek out when I'm asked for advice by an out-of-towner. Edit 2, no, seriously, I like Germans. I've had a couple of close German friends, and have family living full-time in Germany at present. They're neat people. No, I have no idea why they hike around in the desert like that do. We should really have a thread asking Americans where non-Americans should visit. Americans generally travel within the US, so we know the best places to go. Avoid large chain restaurants. The best food in America comes from small owner-operated businesses. Pueblo, Colorado. Trenton, New Jersey. It's the state capital. There is a good museum. But it looks like a bombed-out, looted shithole, and I won't even stop at red lights while in Trenton. The Kensington area of North Philadelphia. Don't. Just don't. Anywhere south in the summertime. It's too F** in hot. Right now. Vermont. I see no one has said it, so I'm going to. Hollywood. Hollywood has like a single block of its area that's actually worth a visit. It's the one with the Chinese theater. But the rest of the city is a complete opposite of the rose-tinted glass view it shows itself as. It's not even the fact it's crowded that's the issue really, but it is definitely a root issue too. It's filthy, there's not only garbage everywhere but it's never clean. You could make a game out of how much vomit, piss, booze, and cum stains there are. The people are scary. Not just the homeless people who are in a depressingly large number. But people in general seem to have a screw loose. There's also a lot of entrepreneurs trying to sell their businesses. And they aren't afraid to be in your face about it. Don't expect any decent eating either. Unless you bleed gold and crap diamonds, and make reservations a month in advance. There's no food to be had here. Overall, it's just not worth the visit. You want to see an entertainment capital worth your time? Visit Universal Studios theme park. Now there's an actual good time to be had. Edit, I am talking about Hollywood Boulevard specifically. Makes East St. Louis look like a resort. And just to be clear, don't go to East St. Louis, either. Go where you want. My country is absolutely gorgeous, especially the national parks. Just 2 pieces of advice. For the love of all that is holy, stay away from the effing wildlife. Seriously. The cute fluffy bison would sooner gore you than take a selfie with you. Don't tell us how awful our healthcare system is. We know. San Bernardino, California at night with no money, walking and waving / screaming obscenities at police officers. Any tourist place will be a money trap, crowded and underwhelming. Unfortunately, lots of cool stuff in the US just gets turns into a business with bizarre gift shops with unrelated gifts. The poor sections of every large city. That's where the overwhelming majority of crime happens. Area 51 seems the obvious answer. I'll say it. Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Too many people, and it's a huge tourist trap. While the Smoky Mountains are beautiful, you can enjoy less crowded scenery by staying in North Carolina and visiting the park around that side. Also, the Cherokee National Forest is magnificent. Edit / I live a few hours from there, which why I mentioned it. Dollywood is about the only reason I'd go up to visit. I live close to many great hiking areas in national forests, so I have no need to see the national park, where I can't even bring my dog. It's just not worth it to point someone in that direction if they're visiting. I'll tell them to go to different areas. If you wouldn't go there in your home country, don't go there in a foreign country. What I mean is, every city has a bad neighborhood. Either research before you go, or ask around while you're there. Every country has a backwoods rural area known for being a bad place for foreigners. Learn where it is and avoid it. Every tourist destination has tourist traps. Learn what kind of traps to look out for in your destination. New Orleans during Mardi Gras and Manhattan, New York during New Year's. If you like the smell of PSS, SHT, and vomit, ignore my advice. Pine Hills, Florida. It's in the Orlando area. Just stick to the tourist areas. I used to live there and it's a *T show. Most of downtown Los Angeles at night. When the streets get quiet and the locals go home, that's your cue to go back to your hotel or a more popular hotspot. Edit, I should have said populated. Circle KS at 2 m. Arizona is very hot in the summertime, otherwise a nice place to visit. Bring your own water, please. East St. Louis. One of the highest, if not the highest, murders per capita in the country. Apparently Harrison, Arkansas. East St. Louis. East St. Louis. Gary, Indiana. Outside the tourist French Quarter in New Orleans. Anything named Ward in major cities, example Houston 5th Ward. Avoid swimming in Lake Superior. People read the name lake and get excited. What they don't realize is they're Great Lakes, inland freshwater seas. It's cold AF and it can be fatal. Edit, too many people missing the point here. I know that are some decent beaches around LS where you can go and swim and do stuff. I was talking about the lake as a whole. For those who can swim in it, it's good. I myself have been fortunate enough to have swam in it a few times. However, my point being, that the Great Lakes in general are a powerful entity and unlike your regular lakes. Moreover, except for a couple of months, the weather can be erratic and can change multiple times in a day. So, if someone's planning to swim, they need to be careful. It's great that if you can swim there all the time, doesn't mean everyone should. It's a general advice, not a specific one. As a native Californian, I'd definitely say the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That place is so dirty and grimy and all the people and street performers there are sketchy and aggressive. Definitely not worth it if you ask me. Downtown Albuquerque at night. So many cracked out homeless dudes getting in your personal space. I told my wife to wait in the car while I stood in front of the taco truck. One guy tried to start a fight with me because I wouldn't lower my window to talk to him while I was at the McDonald's drive-thru. I'm used to NYC where the beggars ask you for money while leaning against the wall or something. In downtown Albuquerque, it's like they own the streets and the roads. Not American, but if you ever find yourself in East Texas and think I'm going to drive to New Orleans, don't do it. Rural Louisiana is like the F***ing upside down. Honestly, when it comes to nature, please visit everywhere your heart desires. Just respect native lands, and plan according to seasons. City-wise, every city has its problems. Do some research and learn the areas to avoid at night and you'll be fine. Edit. Don't forget, private lands here are private. Take no trespassing and keep out signs seriously. Walker County, Alabama. Just don't go there. Don't. Anywhere else in Alabama is fine though. Huntsville is great and so is Birmingham. Decatur has a really good barbecue joint, and don't forget white barbecue sauce on your chicken. Skid Row, LA. Times Square. As a native New Yorker, I highly recommend going to Chelsea, the Village, or anywhere in Central Park over this overrated monstrosity dedicated to capitalism. Avoid the place in your head that says you can visit Miami and LA in the same week. You can, if you fly, but you'll spend 15 hours in the air and get to see very little with at most 48 HRS to see the city. It's subjective, but I hated Pigeon Forge/Gatlinburg. It's pretty, but otherwise overpriced tourist trap with terrible traffic. Go to Asheville instead. Everybody keeps saying the South, but I live in Savannah, GA, and we have a lot of tourists come here. It's actually a significant part of our economy. We have a beautiful and interesting city, just a few miles from the ocean. And it is perfectly safe to come here anytime, though right now through the end of August is rather hot and humid. In Alaska, please don't go close to the wildlife, the bears will kill you along with the moose. Just no, period. Straight face, I've seen so many tourists get attacked by bears and moose. It ain't pretty. The hospital. Look up current sundown towns. I know truckers who absolutely get the F***ck out of those places before dark for fear of racial retaliation. Disney. Your life will be wasted away waiting in lines to pay too much. The time spent enjoying the Disney stuff will be nothing compared to the time being suffocated by crowds waiting around to do things. Unless you came here to stand around AHD bleed money, it's not going to be fun. Don't go to Six Flags and don't stay in any hotels, motels with an exterior entrance that leads directly into your room. Edit, motel added. Thanks for your useful contribution. Ayo, is there really not anyone to mention Ohio? The trough urinals at Wrigley Field. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you enjoyed. Keep the thread going in the comments section down below.